YouTube, what is good, bro? Going, what is good? And we are back with another video. Welcome to another edition of the JRPG Roundup Show here on the channel, bringing you all the latest and greatest in all JRPG news. So without further ado, let's hop straight into it, man. So we got some huge sales numbers incoming for you guys. So total worldwide shipments and digital sales for Triangle Strategy have surpassed 1 million units, publisher Square Enix have announced. So Triangle Strategy launched for Switch on March 4th worldwide, followed by PC via Steam on October 13th. It was last reported on March 18th that Triangle Strategy was nearing 800,000 shipments and digital sales at this point. Only the Switch version was available. So guys, first of all, I want to say how happy I am for Triangle Strategy. This is such an amazing game, super slept on game from 2022, man. For me personally, it got snubbed for RPG of the Year. I did actually want to make a video of that as well from the Game Awards as well. That might be a follow-up video possibly. But Triangle Strategy, super slept on game. Probably one of my favorite games to release from 2022 that I did play. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 did take the cake for me, but just behind it I would say Triangle Strategy easily one of my favorite games from this year that I did play. I am currently replaying that game as well at the moment. From the story to the graphics, an amazing game, head to toe, man, an amazing game. The HD 2D graphics on the game look beautiful, especially on the Switch as well. Even on the Switch version it does look amazing, handheld, even docked as well, it looks amazing. Also the story as well, the story just gripped me in, just took me in, man. An amazing story, very comparable to Game of Thrones as well. If you've ever watched Game of Thrones, it's very similar to that as well. The story always keeps you on edge all the time. Such an amazing game, man, super slept on. I do implore anyone to play this game. I do believe this game is on sale in the Steam store at the moment as well. Square Enix do have a 40% off discount sale at the moment, so the game is available for $35.99 until December 22nd, sorry. So definitely check that out. So that is Triangle Strategy, have surpassed 1 million units, publisher Square Enix have announced. So this is huge news, man. Super happy for Square Enix and super happy for Triangle Strategy. So definitely check this game out if you guys can. So let's move on to the next piece of news, man. So from the recent Falcom announcement that Ys 10 will be releasing, we do have some details regarding the game. So the latest issue of Weekly Famitsu features an interview with Falcom president Toshihiro Kondo, who shares a few more details on the newly announced Ys series 35th anniversary title Ys 10 Nordics. So here's some of the key information that Falcom president Toshihiro Kondo shared with Weekly Famitsu about Ys 10. So Nordics is a term that means people of the north. The time period goes way back after the events of Ys 1 and 2. Edo is 17 years old and on his way to Celceta, which is brought up in the manual preface of Ys 1. Dr. Flareroll is traveling with you. So if you guys are not familiar with who Dr. Flareroll is, he is from Lance Village and he is actually from Ys 2. So moving on, it's a story of boys and girls. Since this is the first time we're releasing on Switch, the main characters are younger and part of that was considering the user base. There are only 2 playable characters, Ado and the Axe Girl. That being said, the action is dense and there are all sorts of things you can do. There are towns, but your base will always be your ship. Solo mode offers the usual high-speed battles of the Ys series. Combination mode lets you pull off more powerful attacks, but the overall speed of battle is slower so you can fight more carefully. The speed only changes on Ado's side. You can only switch to combination mode when holding down a certain button, and it switches back to solo mode when said button is released. Defense carries major weight. Guarding builds up your revenge gauge, which can increase your attack power. We've taken considerable care to adjust the difficulty level so that a wide range of users can enjoy the game. There are special actions called mana actions. There's more freedom when performing mid-air actions. About 20% of the game is sailing your ship. There are maps dedicated to ship and naval battles occur when you encounter enemies. There is also a growth, i.e. character development, element to the ship. We'll release new footage either in the early new year or in the spring. Hopefully the release date will be around the same time as usual. We are quite aware of the challenge we are undertaking in the new field that is the Switch. Production is currently underway with the intention of making a game that both series newcomers and fans alike can enjoy. So guys, some of the takeaways that I've gotten from this interview with Toshihiro Kondo is that they are kind of trying to make this game more accessible, especially for children, especially for the player base of the Nintendo Switch, which of course is aimed at a more younger demographic as well. So this is actually not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination, I want to say. Just making the Ys series more accessible for different types of people. I do want to say the Ys series in general can actually be enjoyed by any demographic, I want to say, just mainly because the games are actually quite light-hearted, especially the language that is used within the games as well is not too vulgar, is not too bad as well. So I do believe that a lot of young children can get involved with these games, and it is actually accessible to them. So of course changing the age, of course, of the main characters as well, making them a little bit younger to to kind of like be aimed more at a younger demographic is actually not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, it does mean that it makes the Yeast series more accessible for people to play as well of any demographic. I'm not too sure how it is over there in Japan as well, so of course this is probably more aimed at more Japan type demographic as well. Maybe just thinking on that sense as well, that maybe too many older people play Yeast as well, so maybe they want to get more younger people involved with the game, but that's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination as well. But I do want to say the things that they're adding to this game is really dope. Of course, they got the Switch in mind very much. So they did say it was a big project as well, of course, working on this game on the Switch. So of course, I do think that this game will be optimized and made specifically for the Switch in mind as well. So I cannot wait for this game to drop, man. So that is Yeast 10 Nordics, which is due out for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 and Switch in 2023 in Japan. So of course we haven't got the Western release date yet, but of course I'm sure we'll get some news and some more details on that very soon. So let's move on to the next piece of news, man. So staying on with the Yeast and Falcom news, Falcom is planning to release 3 refined titles, including the recently announced Yeast memoir The Oath in Felghana, President Toshihiro Kondo said in the latest issue of Weekly Famitsu. So considering Yeast memoir The Oath in Felghana will be available for Switch in spring 2023 in Japan, and Falcom previously said it plans to launch 3 titles for Switch in the fiscal year ending September 30th 2023. The other 2 refined titles will likely be available for Switch. Yeast's memoir The Oath in Felghana is an updated and enhanced or a refined version of Yeast The Oath in Felghana, which was previously released for PSP in 2010. Kondo also confirmed that Yeast's memoir The Oath in Felghana runs at 60 frames per second without issue, and that the developer is currently working on replacing textures with high resolution versions. Balance adjustments are also being made with consideration to the Switch user base. So guys, as I did say in my previous Yeast video, is that Falcom always seem to be working on something, man. They always seem to be working on something. The fact that they are planning to release 3 refined titles for next year is actually very interesting. For me right now, off the top of my head, I cannot think what games they would actually be remaking or remastering, sorry. I'm not too sure what they would remake or remaster. Possibly the one game that does come to mind immediately is of course the Trails in the Sky series. Of course, it will be nice to see that those games of course put onto modern consoles as well, just like Trails from Zero was as well. Those games are pretty outdated now. Actually, I'm currently replaying through that as well. That's actually another one of the games that I am replaying as well. Currently replaying through that as well on the PC. I love the Trails in the Sky series as well. Trails in the Sky is probably one of my favorites in the series. So I actually have been replaying through that as well, and you can kind of see how outdated it is. I'm playing it on the PC, by the way. So the only ways that you can play the Trails in the Sky series at the moment, unfortunately, is only through the PC, and of course you do have it on the PSP as well. But it would be nice to see those games put onto modern consoles. I do feel like Falcom will do this eventually. They will do it eventually. I'm hoping that maybe one of these surprise titles could actually be that for next year. Of course, we have no idea when we'll get a Western release date for any of these, but it's nice to see that they are working on 3 refined titles for next year, of course, and maybe beyond as well. So I am hoping that we do get something on those as well, and of course I'm hoping that we do actually get something to do with those games as well, and which games they will be as well. So it's actually interesting to see what it will be. Also, just another thing I want to mention as well, is interesting that Kondo also confirmed that Yeast Memoir The Oath in Felghana will run at 60 frames per second without issue. Now, I know this is a game that is not extremely demanding, of course, but it was interesting that he said that it will run at 60 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch. But of course, they are doing balance adjustments of course with the Switch user base, they're putting them into consideration as well. So this does kind of make me think that this game might not just be available just for the Nintendo Switch. They might possibly put this on PC as well, and they might of course possibly put this game on modern consoles as well. So this game possibly might even be available via Xbox Game Pass. This game might even be available for the PlayStation as well later on down the line as well. I could possibly see that happening as well. So this is actually really interesting, really interesting news. So let's move on to the final piece of news. So Neptunia series developer Compile Heart will make an announcement in the January 19th 2023 due issue of Weekly Famitsu, the latest issue of the magazine teases. Further details were not shared, though it will likely be a new game reveal. So guys, I'm actually genuinely interested to see what new game Compile Heart decide to reveal. So of course we already know that the new games that they have got lined up for 2023 will be a new Neptunia game. They have Mugen Souls, and they also have Fairy Fencer F Refrain Called, which I did of course cover in one of my previous videos as well. So I'm actually interested to see what new game they will reveal. I'm not too sure what it could be. I was thinking maybe it might just be one of the games that they of course have revealed that will be coming out for next year. Of course we know that Fairy Fencer F will be coming to the West as well, and of course Neptunia will be coming to the West as well. The new Neptunia game, Neptunia Sisters vs Sisters, which will launch January 24th 2023 if I'm not mistaken. So it's actually interesting to see what game they will bring out as well. Hopefully it might be a new IP, it might be a brand new IP completely, but I'm actually definitely interested to see what this will be. So definitely stay tuned for that. That is January 19th 2023. Compile Heart will tease a new game that they will be revealing in 2023. So that'll do it for this edition of the JRPG Roundup show here on the channel, guys. I really appreciate you guys for watching. We are on the road to 250 subs, man. This has been an amazing year for the channel, an amazing year for me personally. I want to thank you guys for sticking by me throughout this year. So please like, sub, share if you're new, hit that notification bell so you get notified from my videos first, and I hope I can be you guys' #1 source for all JRPG news. So from me to you, this has been your bruv, the big bruv, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.